We are talking The Widow, or at least that is the English translation of this Russian horror film. So I'm not going to bother pronouncing the Russian name because it would just be embarrassing. But this is directed by Ivan Minin, and it's, I would say, a Russian version of The Blair Witch. Now, I mean The Blair Witch, the most recent sequel, I suppose, is the nearest thing to this film. So what's the story? Well, it focuses on this rescue crew as they are out in the forest training. And they're there to kind of like do, you know, difficult rescues from caves, mountains, that sort of thing. And they're just meant to be on a training exercise, and they are accompanied by this reporter who's doing like a sort of puff piece on them, so to speak. And they get a call kind of on the way back from the training that there has been a little boy that has got lost in these particular woods, and they want to go and find him, obviously. Now, these woods are legendary to have this this spirit of this woman there who was kind of tortured when she was alive and was thrown down a kind of a deep pit or something. And people tend to sort of stay away from these woods with good reason. So there's been a history of strange occurrences within there. But of course, these rescuers have to go in to try and find this little boy, along with this reporter who is, you know, unexpectedly along for the ride, so to speak. And as you'd probably guess, when they get there, things start to go wrong. There may well be some sort of presence in those deep, dark woods. What will happen? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. So let's discuss The Widow. So I've actually quite liked a lot of the films I've seen from Russia coming out in the last few years. And I think they actually have got a good finger on the pulse in regards to how to make a pretty decent kind of horror film. One of the things I notice with Russian films in general is it's very kind of always very serious tone. Whilst I feel a lot of films from America, even ones that are taken seriously, will still have an element of humour with them and kind of a few jokes and stuff like that. And that is practically all gone from Russian movies. There's a couple of one-liners here and there, but it always takes it sort of super deadly seriously. And it's true of this film because you have this very kind of oppressive atmosphere in these woods that are apparently a little ways off St. Petersburg. And it really does feel like this very untamed wilderness is kind of bearing down on you. And as obviously someone from the West, we know very little about I know very little about Russia. So it almost has the element of the unknown because we're familiar with, these type of Lost in the Woods films coming from, America and Britain and sometimes Europe and stuff. But Russia is a country I feel that many Europeans and people from the West haven't really been to a hell of a lot. So it just adds to that kind of otherworldliness, so to speak. And there is some really kind of eerie sequences in these woods, and it kind of it follows that Blair Witch style motif where we find kind of strange kind of totems in the forest, carvings in the trees, strange kind of like hay men and things like this, kind of little bits of evidence that obviously someone has been there who shouldn't have been, things like this. So it does have this really kind of like eerie kind of atmosphere and a sense of aloneness that is really kind of well captured within the film. And I've got to say, the movie is not a found footage film. There are a couple of sequences within the film that are found footage, but it almost feels somewhat like a found footage movie. It has that kind of like that authenticity, I think, because it's taken so deadly seriously and there's no Joker on the team or anything like that. You do have this kind of almost a found footage movie feel without actually being found footage for the majority of the movie. And the cinematography and stuff like this and the way these kind of like this location shooting is used is excellent. I think the cast do a pretty good job, and there are a couple of eerie sequences within the movie and a couple of fairly good jump scares as well. What doesn't work for me, it more or less is a carbon copy of The Blair Witch, to be honest. It's combining, you take the found footage element out of it maybe, but you combine the original Blair Witch with a kind of I guess it'd be the third film. it's kind of the same thing, to be honest. It doesn't even the story beats are the same, where we only really get a reveal within the kind of the last sort of 10 minutes of the movie, and the big bulk of the film is some eeriness going on, and maybe a couple of like vague kind of sequences that are kind of spooky, but it saves it all up for the end. And I maybe would have liked to have seen things kind of peppered towards a little bit more throughout the film, rather than kind of really sort of saving the kind of the scares right up until the end. Like I said, there are a couple of instances, and there's one pretty good one in this kind of like little stream where this woman's sort of following what she thinks is one of her colleagues, and I actually quite like how that turned out. But to be honest with you, it's relatively light in regards to actual things happening within the movie. It's a lot of kind of like people desperately trying to help innocent people and trying to get out with their lives at the same time. You feel that there's not a huge amount that's actually kind of going on. And I have to say as well, the camera has a little bit of a tendency to kind of turn away just when we are seeing something kind of happen on screen, which is a little bit frustrating. It doesn't do it all of the time, but there are a few instances where we'll just see like a flash of something, and then the kind of it will have an edit to the next scene, or the camera will kind of pull away, and ultimately therefore it's a little bit frustrating and kind of annoying at sometimes. When it's all said and done, I think this movie is quite well made. I think it's a fairly effective kind of horror movie, kind of lost in the woods film. But it really is just treading old ground, and it doesn't really offer anything particularly new. And I think the pacing of the movie could have been a little better here, because I think there's just a little bit too much time going with wandering around in the woods with little happening, to be honest with you. And I understand that the movie is trying to percolate this kind of growing sense of tension and kind of fear and stuff. But it's like 10 minutes to the end, I think not much of significance has happened. There's like a couple of things, but you feel like the story hasn't progressed that much, and we still don't know really what's going on. But ultimately, it is an above average film in regards to how it was made. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.